Ma conversion, ça a commencé donc au collège. Il y avait eu un cours d'histoire sur les 3 religions monothéistes, judaïsme, christianisme, dont l'islam. Ça avait, attisé ma curiosité. Je savais qu'il y avait des musulmans.
Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. We upload different Revert stories that are originally narrated in Russian, French, English, and Spanish with voice dubbing for you. For this work, we also have to follow YouTube's copyright policies. So, because of that, we sometimes make certain clear and meaningful changes in the videos. However, we guarantee you that on our channel, you will not find any fake or false stories. We bring you original, true stories and real life experiences, and we present nothing but the truth before you. And inshallah, we will continue to show and share only the truth with you.
My journey of accepting Islam started back in middle school. In a religious studies class, we were taught about the three monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And honestly, that low-key sparked my curiosity about Islam. I mean, yeah, I already knew Muslims existed and that Islam was a thing in the world, but I didn't really know much about it. I had never actually taken a real interest in it before. Before accepting Islam, I was Christian, and my whole family is Christian too. And to be real, I didn't even have full knowledge of Christianity. I just knew some basic stuff. This all happened around my middle school years, when I was about 12 or 13. And somehow, from a really young age, Islam just hit different for me and left a strong impression. At the same time, I had some Muslim friends, classmates, and I would ask them about Islam too. They would try their best to explain things to me in detail because my mind was full of questions. My Muslim classmates, the girls, used to go to Quran school, and whatever they learned there, they'd come back and tell me. Sometimes they would even ask their Quran teacher my questions so they could explain things better to me. Because they knew I was interested in Islam, even though I was still connected to Christianity at that time. So whenever Christianity came up, they would break it down in a super simple way, like why Islam isn't the same as Christianity, and why the Quran isn't like the current Bible. And me, it's kind of wild, but even though I was Christian, their explanations actually made sense to me. I'd sit there thinking, yeah, what they're saying is actually right. I would literally say, Islam really seems like the truth. At the beginning, it wasn't some deep, solid belief, more like a thought, a feeling, a vibe. I used to ask them all kinds of questions about Islam, like why is this like that, and why does this happen? And they would answer based on what they knew. Since we were all just schoolgirls, our questions were pretty childish and age-appropriate too. In return, they would ask me about Christianity, and honestly, I didn't always have answers. I had never received formal Catholic education, and my family hadn't taught me everything either. Sometimes I could answer, sometimes I couldn't. I hadn't even read the Bible completely. One day, subhanallah, I randomly added an Islamic reminder account on Snapchat. It was someone not even from my city, and there was literally no reason for them to have my number. But somehow they added me, and I started watching their posts daily. Those posts even included comparisons between the Quran and the Bible. I won't say I was 100% convinced about Islam at that point, but I did agree with a lot of what I saw. And again, I found myself thinking, yeah, this really feels like the truth. But then another question would hit me. If that's the case, then why does Christianity even exist? I was just a 14-year-old girl, and my mind was full of whys. I was searching for answers to so many questions. What is the actual truth, Islam or Christianity? Because they have a lot in common, but also a lot of differences. And my heart just couldn't accept that both could be true. It felt like only one of them had to be the truth. I also realized that in Christianity, too, alcohol should be technically forbidden, and pork should be forbidden as well. But when I heard this from a Christian, I was honestly surprised, because I had never heard that before. All of this I actually learned from Muslims and from the girls who went to Quran school, even though I had already started going to church myself. And at church, I would cry. Like every single time. For an hour, sometimes an hour and a half straight, just crying nonstop. But I couldn't even explain why I was crying. I was just a 13 or 14-year-old girl sitting in church, crying, and when people asked me why, I had no answer. Those weren't tears of sadness, and they weren't tears of happiness either. I genuinely didn't know what they were. I'd go home, cry a little more, then eventually stop. And my Sunday would just go on like normal.
Then one Sunday after the sermon, I asked the pastor, "Can Christians drink alcohol?" He said, "Yeah, but not too much." Then I asked, "Can they eat pork?" He said, "Yeah, in Christianity, no food or drink is forbidden." I went home, but I wasn't satisfied at all. Like, yeah, he answered me, but it just didn't hit right. If anything, it left me with even more questions. I kept thinking, how does it make sense that a human, who's already imperfect, is allowed to use something harmful and addictive just as long as they don't go too far? And what even is that limit? Who decides it? Humans themselves? Because God didn't clearly set any limit. That just didn't add up to me. That honestly shocked me. I thought, our body isn't even really ours. It's a trust from Allah. We can't just do whatever we want with it. We can't follow our desires and hurt ourselves. We gotta follow God's commands. One day, a Muslim girl asked me, "Does Christianity have wudu? Like, is there any specific dress for prayer, or any clothes that you're not allowed to pray in?" My answer was, nope, nothing like that. Because no one had ever told me anything like that. Nobody ever said I had to wash specific parts of my body before praying, or wear certain clothes, or purify myself or my outfit before going to church. That concept just wasn't there in Christianity, at least not how I was taught. My routine was that I would pray in church for as long as I could, sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes a whole hour, because I wanted to pray for everyone in the world. I didn't want to leave anyone out. I wanted to ask something for everyone. And if I ever skipped a day of prayer, I'd feel like I didn't do my duty, and I'd feel guilty. That Muslim girl said, "For Muslims, it's unthinkable to pray without wudu after using the bathroom. We can't pray in shorts or sleeveless clothes. We cover our bodies and make wudu before prayer." That really impacted me. Also, when I would see Muslims in sujood, prostration, I used to think, this is real worship, bowing down in front of your creator. This is the bare minimum we should be doing. At that time, I didn't even know the words of the Muslim prayer, but just watching the movements, I felt like this is the truth. A lot of things like this, even the things that are forbidden in Islam, really influenced me. I felt like Christianity had fewer restrictions, and whenever I heard Islamic rulings, I started applying them in my daily life, because it felt like I was obeying my creator. Little by little, Islam started becoming a part of my life. My Muslim friends used to say, "One day you're gonna become Muslim," and I'd be like, "Nah, I'm just learning. I don't plan on accepting it right now." I had this idea that I'd just gain knowledge for now, and then accept Islam later, like when I turn 18 and become legally independent. But then I saw an Islamic reminder about death, and it shook me. It made me realize for the first time that death can come at any time, to kids, teenagers, adults. I thought, I'm 14. What if I die before I even turn 18? I couldn't wait anymore. I didn't want to die before being Muslim, so I decided I'm going to accept Islam right now. It was a night in October 2019. I was alone in my room. I searched online, how to become Muslim. I saw different opinions. Some said it should be done in a mosque in front of witnesses. Others said you can do it alone. Then I understood that the main thing is to recite the Shahada with sincere intention.
Allah sees everything, and He knows that I'm accepting Islam, so I watched a video on YouTube and recited the Shahada with Arabic pronunciation. Honestly, if I hear it now, I might laugh because my Arabic back then was kinda rough. Then I read its translation with intention in my heart and promised Allah that I would stick to it. I turned off my phone and went to sleep. The next day, I went to school, but I didn't tell anyone, probably out of shyness. Still, my Muslim friends kind of figured it out. After school, we were talking about marriage, and I said, I'm gonna get married in a mosque. All my Muslim friends were like, wait, you have to be Muslim for that. So slowly, while talking, I told them, honestly, last night I recited the Shahada, so yeah, I'm Muslim now. They were instantly shocked and happy at the same time, like, for real? Subhanallah. The happiness in their eyes, when I think about that moment, it still makes me emotional. It's been about 4 years now. Yeah, almost 4 years, but I remember it like it was yesterday. It was October, the weather was nice, I can still picture the whole scene in my mind. The trees around me, everything looking so peaceful, almost like a little piece of heaven, even though we were just standing in a random street. But yeah, they were genuinely so happy for me. And since I told those 2 girls, slowly the news spread to the rest of the Muslim students. They handled everything, and I started getting congratulations from everyone. Everybody was really happy for me. And that's when it really hit me. Yeah, I'm actually Muslim now.
Dear viewers, if you like this story and you are interested in watching more videos like this, stories of people accepting Islam with a voice dubbing, then please make sure to subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon next to it so that every new faith-inspiring videos reaches you first. Also, please like this video and let's know in the comment section how you felt about our efforts and work. Jazakumullah khairan.
But honestly, this phase wasn't easy at all. Making this decision at just 14 years old hit me really hard, especially because I was just a kid who was still dependent on my mom. The first step was praying in secret at home. I knew that after accepting Islam, prayer was abzatilna, like I had to pray. But I was still living with my mom, so there was no way I could pray openly. Honestly, even just living as a Muslim in that house wasn't easy, so I kept everything to myself. I kept thinking, how am I even going to pray? Because I have to pray, no matter what. But how? So I started figuring out ways to pray in secret. Anyone who's had to practice Islam in hiding will get what I mean. I'd wrap a blanket or sheet around my waist, put on a hoodie, and I had this colorful scarf. It even had holes in it. I'd wrap it around my head so no hair would show. Then I'd throw on my thickest sweatshirt, sometimes even a coat. Basically, I'd be drenched in sweat, partly from all the layers and partly from the fear that someone might walk in while I'm in sujud. I learned how to pray from the internet. And back then, my prayer had a lot of mistakes. I was trying to improve, and I'd keep asking my friends if I was doing it right or not. Like I mentioned, I accepted Islam in October 2019, and you already know that in 2020, lockdown hit. We were stuck at home. Schools were closed, classes moved online. Basically, we were home all the time. So I had a lot of free time, and I spent hours on the internet learning about Islam. I learned the names and attributes of Allah, memorized new surahs. I was really trying to level myself up. At that time, I had joined a bunch of Islamic pages that would send reminders like, Alhamdulillah, we're in lockdown. Now we have time to pray on time. No excuses. So that's exactly what I did. I used to read the Quran on my phone, but every single time I'd delete my history so no one would find out. I didn't have any physical books, like I mentioned before, so I had to be extra careful. I didn't keep a Quran or any Islamic book at home. Praying wasn't easy. I'm not gonna lie, it was really intense. But when your intention is strong, you make it happen. At the beginning of 2020, I thought, now I'm actually convinced about Islam. I'm praying, I'm fully practicing my religion, so now I should tell my family. Maybe it's finally the right time to let them know.
So I decided, I'm going to tell my family. I started preparing myself mentally. I didn't want to hide my faith anymore. I didn't wait until I turned 18 because I just couldn't keep living like that. The first question was, how do I even tell them? I started looking up Instagram accounts where people shared their conversion stories. I learned from them how to break the news. I also watched YouTube videos. At first, I slowly started bringing up religion in conversations with my mom. We never really had a super deep, emotional, share everything kind of relationship, so I had to take the initiative myself. I asked her questions about death, the afterlife, and God, just to understand her mindset. She would answer, and I'd kind of test the waters. I realized that talking about religion was possible, so slowly I started bringing Islam into the conversation too, very carefully. Every night after dinner, we'd watch TV. I'd think, okay, I'll tell her after the movie, but then this hauf would hit me out of nowhere, and my throat would literally lock up. I wanted to say it, but the words just wouldn't come out. Then I read something online. If you can't say it, write it. So I wrote a letter. While writing it, I was crying, like Rialna crying. My tears were literally falling onto the paper. In the letter, I first thanked my mom, especially as a single mother, for everything she did to raise me. I also thanked Allah for giving me a believing family. Then I told her my whole story, how I found Islam. I told her that I'm happy, I'm at peace, and I truly believe this is the right path for me. It was a soft, loving letter, nothing harsh or scary. One morning, she was in a good mood, having breakfast, and I thought, this is it. This is the right time. I went up to her with the letter and said, Mom, can you listen to me for a bit? I need to talk to you about something important. She was smiling, everything felt normal. I opened the letter, but suddenly I just broke down crying, like I couldn't stop. Those tears were everything I had been holding in for months, praying in secret, living in fear. It all came pouring out. She got worried, hugged me, stroked my hair, and said, What's wrong? You can tell me anything. You can share everything with me. In that moment, I felt really safe. I pulled myself together, put the letter aside, and told her everything face to face.
And then everything changed. I said, I've been Muslim for a few months. I told her I had chosen Islam as my way of life and that I was going to stick with it for the rest of my life. I explained it in simple words, that I'm happy, that I've found peace. She instantly went into denial and said, No, you can't do that. Like she just refused to accept it. She said, You're not going to become Muslim. You don't need that. You're Christian and you'll stay Christian. I thought maybe she didn't understand me, so I said, No, I'm actually already Muslim. That's when she got mad. She said, You just want to be like your friends. You're always copying others. She kept calling me a sheep, like someone who blindly follows people. That hurt a lot, because I didn't make this decision for anyone else. I made it for myself. Then she said, Get out of my face. You're making me sick. I was crying, and I got up and went to my room. The things she was saying about Islam were really hurting me. Then I heard her on the phone talking to my uncle. She was literally making fun of me, saying, Do you know what your niece just said? She wants to become Muslim. I thought maybe my uncle would support me, but that didn't happen. Then I heard her say, Wait, I'll let you talk to her. My uncle said, No, you shouldn't do this. Are you crazy? What do you think you're doing? What faith are you even talking about? You're just a kid. Do you even understand what you're saying? You need to think about yourself. Come back to reality. This is nonsense. Lockdown messed up your brain. You've gone crazy. Seriously, you've gone crazy. Hearing all that made me feel even worse. It felt like I was being humiliated. And my mom started making fun of me too.
She said, "She doesn't even have a father, and now she doesn't have a mother either. She's all alone now, that's it. Just leave her to her madness. She's not ours anymore." Then she left my room and went back to hers, still talking badly about me. I could hear everything, and it was really painful. She was saying things like, when I talked to her, she felt like spitting in my face. That's why she told me to leave the room, because she couldn't control herself. She said she hated me, that she couldn't stand me, that she wanted me to leave the house. Everything happened so fast. Just 30 minutes ago, I was in one of the happiest moments of my life, hugging my mom. And now this was happening. I was sitting silently on my bed, not even moving. I had a childhood picture of me and my mom. I picked it up and just stared at it while crying. When my mom ended the call, she came back into my room and said, "Don't even touch that picture. I hate you. Put it away, right now." And then she left again. Then she came back just to yell at me, swearing and screaming. She was so angry, she threw things and slammed the door. Even after leaving the room, she kept talking about me outside. I could hear everything, and it was really hurting. Around that time, it was Ramadan 2020. I wanted to fast for the first time, but she said, "This is my house. There will be no fasting here. If you want to fast, then leave." So on the first day, I didn't fast. I even drank a little water in front of her during the day so she wouldn't think I was fasting, because I didn't want to get kicked out. That night, I had barely fallen asleep when she came into my room and woke me up. She said, "And your letter? Give it to me. I'm going to show it to the police tomorrow." I had already torn up the letter because I was completely broken. When she saw it was torn, she got even angrier and said, "You're going to write it again, word for word, or you'll see what I do." So I started rewriting the letter while crying, with fear in my mind. What's going to happen with the police? Am I going to go to jail? Is my future over? I was so confused. I even thought maybe they'd send me to a childcare home. My mind was racing with all kinds of thoughts. The next morning, she left the house, but my fear was still there. Meanwhile, she had told her friends and was spreading bad things about me. Hearing that broke me even more. Then she called my cousin, someone I saw like a big brother. I was hoping he'd support me, and he actually was more calm. Then suddenly, my mom got angry again. She picked up a glass of water and threw it at me. She said, "You're lucky I didn't throw this glass at your head. I could have ended you right here." At that point, I was completely broken. But alhamdulillah, nothing worse happened. After the call ended, she told me to leave the house. She said, "Get out." She also told me to leave my phone behind. I quickly changed my clothes and left the house. Even as I was leaving, she was mocking me. "Go to your Muslims, go." Crying, I went to a friend's house nearby. When I got there, her mom opened the door. Seeing me like that, she got really worried and immediately took me inside. I couldn't stop crying, like non-stop. I was crying so much I couldn't even speak. She sat me down in a room. My friend was surprised to see me like that, but she stayed calm. I asked her, "Do you think I've changed?" My friend said, "No, not at all. You're the same." Hearing that gave me a little bit of peace. I stayed at her house for about a week. Her mom called my mom, but my mom said, "She can't come back." She said, "If you want to keep her, then keep her, but she's not coming back to my house." During that time, I cried a lot. Like, a lot. I was completely broken mentally. I was sad all the time.
At that time, I was obviously in a really bad state. I was just crying. Yeah, just crying nonstop. It felt like there was a knot in my chest, my throat, my stomach. everywhere. I felt awful. My face was always sad. And anytime someone asked, "Are you okay?" my eyes would instantly fill up with tears again. Then there came a moment when I calmed down a little, and I said, "I have to tell her." So I went into another room with my friend's mom, and I told her that all of this was actually because of Islam. That's why I was in this condition. I told her the whole story, everything that happened, and how I got to this point. Her reaction was like, "Wait, that's it? That's all? Just because of Islam?" She kept repeating that, like it's only because of Islam. Then she said, "You actually relieved me. I thought this was something really serious, like some danger. But this is nothing." I feel like she realized my mom didn't really understand. And honestly, something clicked in my own mind too, because I had started seeing myself as this cursed kid who was hurting everyone around her. So I thought, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe I do have the right to feel okay about myself like this. Then I found out that my friend's older sister had also accepted Islam, so she had some experience with this topic. She said, "You know, my older daughter also started learning about Islam at your age. She even bought books and started studying all this. But the thing she was worried about was that I might fall into depression and hurt myself. She wasn't Muslim, but she understood that sometimes people can get the wrong information about Islam. So she said it's important that I learn from someone who actually knows the religion properly. She told me to be careful, to pay attention to what I'm learning and who I'm learning it from." Then she talked to my cousin, and together they tried to convince my mom to take me back home. One afternoon, we were sitting at the dining table. After a week, I had started feeling really comfortable with that family. They were open-minded, and honestly, I wanted to stay there forever. Then she said, "I talked to your mom. She's coming to pick you up at this time." My heart dropped again. All the memories of what happened came rushing back. I didn't want to go, but I had no choice. You could see it on my face. I didn't want to leave, but I had to go back home. My mom's behavior was still really harsh. As soon as I got home, she said, "You will never talk about this topic again. Whatever you're doing, stop it immediately. I know you might do this secretly, but I'm stopping you right now. If you do this again and I catch you, I'll treat you even worse than before. You will never talk to me about Islam again." I didn't say anything. I stayed quiet. After that, things between us got really tense. Lockdown was ending, the weather was getting better, but the environment at home was heavy. We didn't even stay in the same room anymore. We only saw each other at mealtimes. I'd only come out when I heard the dishes and knew food was ready. I also heard my mom talking badly about me to her friends on the phone, saying things about me that weren't even true. She would talk loudly on purpose so I could hear. Conversations through the wall, and it hurt so much. When school started again, I tried to stay out as long as possible. I didn't want to go home. The house felt toxic. My friends noticed I had changed, but I didn't want to tell them anything. A few months later, things got bad again. My mom kicked me out of the house again. Then I found out my mom had told people not to let me in, because according to her, I wasn't worthy. But in reality, I was still firm on my faith, and when I started living more independently, I actually increased my worship. I met good Muslim sisters. They were really kind. Alhamdulillah, my faith became stronger. I decided to wear the hijab. It wasn't a random decision. I had already been thinking about it, and I wanted to wear it consistently. After a few months, when my mom came to see me, I told her again, "I'm Muslim." This time, she said, "From the heart, we have no relationship anymore. Our lives end here. You live your life. Go be with your Muslims." Then she left. I cried so much.
It hurt deeply. But even then, I didn't stop sending her loving messages. I told her, "Mom, I still love you. Islam is in my heart, and so are you. Even if you say bad things to me, I'll keep loving you." And honestly, I still feel that way today. But our relationship is broken now. Still, I chose to wear the hijab. I'm not wearing hijab for fashion or to please anyone. I'm wearing it for Allah. With every hardship, there's ease. I have faith in Allah, whether times are good or bad. If I could give advice to anyone today, it would be this: never lose hope in Allah's mercy. Allah can change hearts. If today you feel like your parents will never accept it, remember, nothing is difficult for Allah. We should never lose hope in His greatness. The pain of this world is temporary, but the happiness of the hereafter is forever. After death, the only things that will matter are your faith and your good deeds. Nothing else will help.